welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. We're going organic and biodynamic. Now, they're not both organic, they're all organic, they're not all biodynamic. It's become a stronger trend from a while ago. I remember a few years back, I talked to a winemaker. He was using organic practices. And I said, well, why don't you get certified organic? He said, well, I don't want to pigeonhole myself. I think it might affect my wine sales. And it is true to a certain degree. Organic or biodynamic wines tend to have a certain crowd of people that look for them. I'm going to review three from, let's see, we got two from California, one from Chile. We're going to look at these and see how they taste. Of course, the whole organic biodynamic thing is they think that they bring a greater purity to the wines. And there's a big debate about that. It doesn't really matter to me. As long as the wine's good, that's what matters. In biodynamic practices started by Rudolf Steiner in the early or late 19th century, excuse me. He was very religious about it. It could become a very religious sort of approach to growing grapes. Not all people that do biodynamic practices are, religious about it. They just like, they go by the moon cycles. They let the chickens and the horses run and poop all over the vines or whatever, on the ground, and that all incorporates with the fertilizing in a natural way. They don't use pesticides and those sorts of things, which is a good thing. Then there's organic practices, which I think with the biodynamic, the Demeter International is the organization that kind of determines whether you're biodynamic or not. And then there's the IMO, EcoCert, something like that, out of Switzerland, that controls a lot of the certifications of organic. Anyway, where am I going with that? Anyway, a lot of people, especially the ones that are lower sulfite, that attracts a lot of people because there's a lot of people who feel that they are allergic to sulfites. They have a reaction to it when they drink the wine. So we're going to review three of these wines. The first one is from Chile, Emiliana, Natura, 2015 Carmenere. So Carmenere is a grape that's used quite a bit down in Chile. It can go very vegetal. It reminds me a little bit of a Cab Franc from the Valle, but usually a lot more pepper, if I remember right. This rolls in at $10, so fairly inexpensive from Chile. Let's see what we get here. So I do get a little bit of like, I'm in the middle of a salal field, or like there's branches around me. It's not super strong, but it's there. I'm getting some currants underneath. It almost like it reminds me of a taco salad for some reason. I'm not sure about that. I think they said these guys actually, I looked it up because they said they are certified by the IMO. And I'm not sure, that's probably not the only organization that determines whether somebody can be organic or not, or certified organic. But it is a big organization that does it internationally. Get a little bit of licorice too. Let's see what we get on the palate. Kind of thin, but not bad. It's not funky. This, to me, I would just say this is a great everyday red. Have a plate of spaghetti. This would go great with spaghetti, with burgers, with pizza. Just a really nice everyday red. So I'm getting currants and cherries, a little bit of orange peel, which I find very intriguing, and kind of an underbelly underneath all that. You get a little bit of a vegetable thing going on, but it's not prominent. It would not turn anybody off, I don't think. Kind of thin. The tannins are soft, very soft tannins. Like I said, to me, this is just a really cool little red table wine. I think anybody could enjoy this wine, really. There's a little bit of expansion of the fruit towards the back of the mid palate. Well, once again, this is a very interesting wine with that little kind of veggie thing going on underneath. I like that orange peel component, but very, light, very simple, easy to drink. It's a C wine, and I'd give it a straight up C. Just an average wine, good but average. $10. I mean, come on, you could buy that. And it's organically grown, so you don't have those pesticides and herbicides. And I believe it said on the label, I read the back of the label before I started this, they use sustainable farming practices, which means they recycle their water, they probably use solar power. These are all positive things. And if you're concerned about additives to your wines or things that you're not sure of, this would be a really nice little everyday table red. Let's move on. This is 2015 Frey Merlot organic wine, and this is one that this very popular store. Contains only naturally occurring sulfites, no added sulfites. A lot of people are very jazzed about that. Some people pronounce this Frey, but it is Frey. That's how they say it. They're out of California. In fact, I should read that on there. North Coast. Okay, there it is. North Coast, California. This rolls in at $15. Now, I had their Zin in the past. I really like their Zin. I thought it was right up there with any Zin you could buy off the shelf that is not organic. Let's see what we got on those. So this is a Merlot. North Coast. A lot of people don't feel like they should make Merlot in those parts of the country. Oh boy, that smells just like it. I just hit it. A lot of like Worcestershire or soy sauce sort of thing going on the nose. It's pretty very interesting. Yeah, I get that kind of a barbecue spice. A little bit of wood, like old dried wood. Man, I can't get past that kind of barbecue spices, soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce. What's that thing going on? In fact, that's so prominent that I just don't even really can't pull out a fruit out of this. Maybe cherries, maybe. And then that kind of old bark thing going on. Let's see what we get on the palate. Very curious about this one. Very savory. That kind of bark comes through the end, but I'm going to just be straight up honest with you. It's a boring wine. It doesn't have anything going on. There's not a lot to it. $15. I'd go for the $10 Carmenere any day of the week over this one. Just really, really a poor effort as far as just. And now their Zin was very good, but this Merlot is just almost insipid. I mean, it's not funky or anything. There's nothing wrong with it in that sense. It just, there's nothing there. Yeah, $15. Save your money. No, don't go there. I'm going to go D- on that. It's just, there's nothing there. For $15, it's just too much money for that. I mean, if I paid $5, I'm like, it's okay, but yeah. Let's move on. This is the 2016 Bonterra Equinox Red, made with organic grapes. sort of stamp on the front. This was in at $16. Bonterra's been around since 1987. They were doing this organic stuff before anybody really even cared about it. And they've been around a long time. They're part of the Fetzer winery. They're an extension of the Fetzer winery. And Fetzer also does theirs organically, if I'm not mistaken. I interviewed Bill Powers from Powers Winery, Badger Mountain. They do organic wines. Their division is called Badger Mountain out of Washington. And they do organic wines. And he said he went down to Fetzer before he started doing his organic stuff and talked to them because they did organically. Well, I thought that was interesting. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I remember. And they don't certify Fetzer as organic, but I believe they do organic practices there. But Bonterra, since 1987, that's 30 plus years, they've been making organic wines. So they better be good at it. Good color on this, by the way. I don't mention color often enough, and I need to start doing that. Yeah, let's see what we get on the nose. Once again, these guys do not put the grapes on the label, and they do not put the grapes on their website. That kind of pisses me off, but that's okay. I really like to see the composition of the wine. A little challenged on the nose. I do get kind of a currant grape, maybe a little bit of plum coming through. Get a little, there's just a tiny hint of stink action, which I find cool. And some tobacco. Let's see what we get on the palate. It's going to blow my mind if that $10 Carmenere from Natura is going to blow these out. It has solid fruit. It's kind of empty on the mid palate and finish, but it does have. I get a lot of dark cherry, blackberry, a little bit of plum, and tobacco on this wine. The thing that bothers me about this wine, the tannins are smooth, for sure. Now, on that second try, a little bit of grip on the tannins. I got a nice little kind of a citrus component coming through on the mid palate with that blackberry and cherry, a little bit of plum coming through, and tobacco on the finish. It's got some guts to it. It does. I've had these open for a while, but once again, I didn't decant them. I didn't pour it in a decanter. This wine, I'm going to trust my gut on this one. A little bit of decanting, and it'll come out even more. I missed out on the Hess Malbec. I think I mentioned that. The next day, that wine just rocked it, and I knew it, and yet I didn't grade it accordingly because it wasn't showing right at the time. These have been open for well over an hour, but without, there isn't much going on when you just take the cork out as far as aeration goes. Just so you know, if you want to aerate the wine, put it in a mason jar, put it in a Kool-Aid pitcher. If you don't have it in canner, who cares? You don't need to have anything fancy. Just throw it in something, let it air out. I like that citrus component that comes through in the mid palate into the finish. It has some serious tannins on it. I think this is going to, after time, it's going to open up a little bit even more and become more interesting. It's $16. I'm not super excited about it, but I think it will open up even more. It's already opening up in the glass. I'm going to try it later today, maybe tomorrow, and see how it opens up. But I think it is going to open up even more. So I'm going to go on this wine. I really like that citrus. The finish is kind of hanging on there. Good acidity, nice structured tannins, a little bit of tobacco on the finish with that kind of citrus hit. I like it. It's pretty well integrated. I'm going to go B minus. C plus B. No, I'm just going to go B minus because I really feel I want to trust my gut on that one. I know it's going to open up even more, and I think it's going to get even better. I'm going to go B minus. I think that's a solid wine, very interesting. I was excited when somebody showed me this wine. I've never seen Bonterra Equinox. So there you go, a great organic. And they also use biodynamic practices at Bonterra as well as organic. There you go. Some organic biodynamic wines, 2 from California, 1 from Chile. I hope you're enjoying these episodes. Don't forget to subscribe. I think I mentioned in my last episode, 85% of the people who watch these aren't subscribed. Please subscribe to the channel. You can see when I have an episode coming out. I really appreciate the support. I like you guys a lot. I appreciate the comments you're sending out. That's really cool, very encouraging to me. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.